Before you go and spend $400 on a Revair, I want you to watch this video. Today I'm going to be comparing my vacuum cleaner that I purchased for $70. It's a Eureka Vacuum Cleaner. I got it from Amazon. And I'm going to be comparing that to the Revair, where, runs about $400. And I think it's only available in the US. I've heard a couple of people say on my post that it's not available in Europe. So if this is something that you have been thinking about, like what is the Revair, what is the big fuss about, and does it really work in comparison to that of a regular blow dryer and that of a vacuum cleaner, which is basically what the Revair is. I'm going to be talking about that. So stick around, go ahead and like this video, share to anybody that you think is curious about the comparison and or thinking about getting a Revair. Now, I want to be clear that I have nothing against Revair. I think it's a wonderful product, but I'm going to talk a little bit about how I use my vacuum cleaner as a Revair dupe. So stick around, alright? Let's get into the video. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is basically compare the Revair components, like some things that people have talked about about the Revair in comparison to my vacuum cleaner that I use. If this is the first time you have come across any of my content, please go back and explore my other videos so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Please check me out on Instagram as well, and I'll put my handles here somewhere on the screen so that you can go check me out on Instagram. But one thing I want to talk about first and foremost is the functionality of my vacuum cleaner versus the Revair. I do not have a Revair, but I did go out and research what the Revair does, how it works, and I did that in thinking of wanting the Revair. But then when I really saw what it did and all the components of it, I was like, that's a vacuum cleaner. And so that's what led me to seek out a different alternative option. And I'm going to be talking about that as well as in comparison to a regular blow dryer, handheld blow dryer, where I also get comments about why don't I just use the blow dryer on a cool setting. So let's talk about the functionality first. And this is just a talking video. I'm not going to really demonstrate, but you can look at a lot of my videos to see the demonstration and kind of pair it with what I'm talking about now, and then you'll have a better understanding. So first things first, when it comes down to my vacuum cleaner that I purchased from Amazon for it was like $75 it's a Eureka brand. I'm not being paid, or this is not a sponsorship or a partnership with Eureka. I just chose that one because it was lightweight and it gave me what I was looking for. Okay, so the one thing that I like is that it's lightweight. Okay, this is a super lightweight vacuum cleaner. Come here, Mooney. It's super lightweight, so you can see I'm holding it with one hand, and I'm pretty strong. I'll be in the gym a little bit, but at the same time, it's super lightweight where you can see, obviously, I can lift it with my hand. If you want me to compare it to something, here is my dog. She is a Maltese West Highland Terrier, and she's about the same size, as you can see, as the vacuum cleaner. She weighs about 15 pounds, I know that. So this is probably a little less than 15 pounds, maybe 12, something like that. And so it's super lightweight, and I can kind of drag it and pull it around my daughter's head when I'm vacuum cleaning, but usually I don't have to do that, because another good part is that it has this really long tube, as you can see, super, super long. So that allows me to really stretch the length of the vacuum cleaner if I need to move or maneuver around her head. So the next part is that it's actually the handheld piece is lightweight. So I've seen a lot of girlies that post on their YouTube channels, which is, like I said, I did the research. I didn't just go and be like, you know what, I'm going to grab my vacuum cleaner and I'm just going to use that. It wasn't like that. Like, I actually thought this through. It wasn't spare of the moment kind of thing. Like, I actually thought it through, okay? And so, excuse me, I just had dinner. So the handheld piece was a really good thing that, in comparison to the Revair, I noticed that this is a benefit for me. Now, I'm just explaining this from my perspective. please go get the Revair. Spend your $400 if you got it, right? Do what works for you. I'm just explaining this because I had a lot of questions in my comments in regards to, you know, different opinions and things like that. So I'm just addressing some of those so you kind of get where I'm coming from, because there are a lot of people too that were interested in actually doing this and was like, wow, I could definitely save my money. You know, and so, you know, I'm all about saving a coin and helping others save if you don't have to, and just thinking of creative ways to navigate our black hair, right? I'm also creative and an artist, so it kind of comes along with the territory. I think we all are in some way, but when it comes down to ideas, I think it's very important to share them. Maybe this will come into something, right? Maybe it'll come into some type of innovation ideas, because I do want to say I'm putting my stamp on it. Like, I haven't seen anybody use it the way I have. Now, I know there's a lot of people that said that they used to use it, you know, their grandparents or their mom used to do something like that. But when it comes down to some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight, I don't know if anybody got to that far yet, you know? We're going to see. But, now, I was really looking for something that was more lightweight, because when I looked at videos of other girls using their Revair, one of the things was it was very difficult for them to hold it up, right? It was heavy, it was kind of bulky, and they had to kind of navigate and try to, you know, get in certain sections of their hair, even while sectioning the hair off. Or some, I know they said it start from the crown and work their way down. It was all this sort of method to it, where you were tiring out, and sometimes it takes long when you're holding this big thing, and then you may have to stop and rest, you know, because somebody has to hold it to your head in order for it to actually, you know, dry and drain the hair. So the one thing that I really, really appreciate about this was that I managed to get it where it has several tubes. This vacuum cleaner comes with a kit. It comes with 2 long tubes like this, and then it comes with the different bottoms, right? So what I did was I took this tube and I said, okay, this tube is going to be designated for if and when I choose to use this as a regular vacuum cleaner. So I can still, because the long tube was making it so you can, you know, reach up high, right? But for me to vacuum, I can just use 1 tube. I don't need 2 tubes. So I designated 1 tube as my vacuum tube, so to speak, and that connects to the other parts that if I needed to get in a corner or whatever, or my curtain, whatever, right? So that's that tube, and I explained this in some of my other videos. Again, explore, okay? I encourage you to explore my page. And then this tube, I said, okay, I'm gonna designate this tube as the only one that I use on my daughter's hair, so that her hair will never come in contact with any of the dust, dirt, germs, grime, grit, whatever that may be associated with if and when I choose to use it as a vacuum cleaner. So that's the key thing in this case, because once I started using this, and you know, it probably could do it with if I was just using this part too, you know, I just haven't done it, but it made it so when I put this to her hair, it just hangs there. And I can go and do something else with the other duration of the time while this is drying certain portions of her hair. She can also hold it in place. It's easy for my daughter if she wanted to use it to stretch her hair. She's 13, still learning kind of how to do her own hair as well, so it makes it easy for her to do her hair instead of trying to hold this big old Revair thing up. And you can see some of my other videos where I'm actually doing just that. I am allowing this to sit in her hair and dry one portion of her hair while I am detangling another portion and preparing it for the other one. That's actually the post that went viral on my Instagram, where it's a really short, you know, I guess they call it B-roll, of a post where it's just me using this long tube, and I'm, you know, showing how I'm using a portion, preparing another portion of her hair while this is drying at the same time. And I think that is the biggest thing, because there is nothing that actually does that. There's no invention of that I know of that allows you to dry one section of the hair while you're working on the other section, other than a vacuum cleaner. And the Revair does not do that. So in comparison to the Revair, bing, my vacuum cleaner gets a point for that. And the second thing is, a lot of people were saying, well, you know, the Revair stretches better. You can see that her hair isn't actually stretched. Well, I would say just go look at some of the videos, and you'll see that there are lots of videos where my daughter's hair is extremely straight. I do also want to say that we weren't going, and I said this in another video. I feel like a broken record at this point. But I said, that we weren't going for bone straight. Like, if we were going for bone straight, I would continue putting heat in her hair. I would continue using a blow dryer type thing, you know. But for me, it was just, she likes to, I wanted her hair to be manageable without heat. That's what I was looking for. But for my daughter, which is, I also consider what her desires are for her own hair, she likes the big hair. She doesn't really like the shrinkage as much, because it makes her hair look shorter. And you know, she's okay with it from certain aspects, but she really wants it to get longer before she allows the natural shrinkage to be, because she wants it to kind of hang. She wants the hang time, you know. And I feel that. So I wanted to use something to stretch her hair, and so she can wear it out as a fro. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll kind of see some pictures of my daughter and how her hair, she likes to wear her hair like out. She likes to wear it in a curly fro. She's not pressed to have it slicked down, or, you know, have wavy curls. She likes that big afro messy fro. And so in order to kind of achieve that look for her, you know, we wanted to stretch it, but I didn't want to incorporate any heat within her hair. So it wasn't the bone straightness that we were going for. But if you look at my videos, you will see that this does a pretty good job at stretching hair. So in comparison to the Revair on the stretch, being able to stretch 4C hair, I would definitely give it a thumbs up as well. If I were to rate it in between 1 to 10, I would say, and I've seen videos of the Revair as far as how straight they are. So in comparison to the Revair, if I were to rate it based on that from 1 to 10, I would definitely give it a strong 8, you know, because it does have the capability of fully stretching your hair and completely drying your hair with no heat, just through using the suction. But with that, I want to talk about the water aspect, because I had a lot of people also talk about that, you know, did you try a wet dry back? And I talk about this as well, but I'm doing it more in comparison to the Revair, I guess. But I just keep getting a lot of questions about it. So my hope is, the more I clarify, the more, well, first, the more to get out there, because this is content. But also, the more people will have more of an understanding of why I chose this route, and then they can have an understanding on if it works for them. Because again, I'm just sharing, right? That's the whole goal. But the wet dry thing hasn't been an issue for me. I understand that I am dealing with wet hair, drying and stretching it, right? But I don't know about y'all, but when my daughter gets out from me washing her hair, I wrap the towel on it, and you know, and wrap it around her hair. You can see in my videos. And by the time she sits down, her hair is draining a little bit, but it's not like soaking wet. This is not the same as when you spill something on the floor and there's a puddle of water, and then I'm vacuuming up that puddle of water, right? This is damp hair, right, that has moisture in it. And so what I'm doing with my vacuum cleaner is drawing out the moisture. Same thing as a Revair. It draws out the moisture. This particular vacuum cleaner is honestly no different when it comes down to the equipment that is being used. The difference between, I believe, my vacuum cleaner and the Revair is I actually have one that has a bag. So the water is not even going in the vacuum cleaner at all. When I finish drying my daughter's hair, there's no water in the vacuum cleaner. There's also no water in here. If you look inside here, I used this just last weekend on my daughter's hair, and you can see that the bag looks fairly new still because it hasn't been damaged by moisture or water or wetness or nothing. Like, you can look at it and see that is in very good shape. And I can show you a brand new one in comparison to a brand new one that's been unused. Here's a new one that's unused, and here is one that has been in the dryer. Okay, and you can see also inside that it doesn't even have anything in there. You can see maybe a few little pieces of her hair, but it's not even pulling out her hair or anything. There's nothing inside. Okay, and it's not, you don't see any moisture buildup, residue around here, nothing at all. And you can look inside of here as well and see that there's nothing in there. So I just haven't had that issue with this particular vacuum cleaner, which is why I purchased this one, because I thought about the water too. I was like, well, I don't want it to get wet. I've done that before where I vacuumed up some water and the whole vacuum cleaner had like a filter system where it spins like that when it pulls the dust, and had the filter around it, and all of that got wet, so then it was stinking, you know. And so it didn't electrocute me or anything, or it didn't damage the vacuum cleaner, it just stunk. And so that's what ended up happening to that vacuum cleaner. So I didn't want to deal with the water either, but I didn't think of a wet dry vac. I didn't think of that. But in comparison to the Revair, this particular vacuum cleaner and method that I'm using is working. Okay, so bing, thumbs up there. Okay. The next thing was time. How long does it take? I saw some people that said, oh, that would take a long time. That would take forever to use that or whatever. And I said, well, let's see. So I posted a video recently. If you again explore my channel, you'll see that there is one that I just recently posted this past week about showing you the timestamps. So I was very mindful of taking a few timestamps so you can see exactly how long it took me to do her hair from start to finish, as well as how long it took me to do a certain section and things like that. I also posted it on my Instagram page, as well as on the shorts here on the channel, showing the actual real time of how long it took to dry a section of hair while I was detangling and drying at the same time. So I encourage you to check that out, because in comparison to a Revair, it definitely gets a thumbs up there, because it only took about 60 seconds, and it probably could take less. What I do is I put it on her hair, and then I detangle the next section while that's drying. So however long it takes me to detangle, that's how long it's sitting there, regardless of how long it actually took for it to dry. I let it sit there until I'm done detangling, and then by the time I'm done detangling her hair and I take that off and put it on the other section, it's completely dry, stretched, ready to go. I pin it off to the side while I'm moving throughout her head like that. So please make sure you go and check out the rest of my video, and if you haven't already, please go ahead and click the like button, because I think I've given a lot of information for you to be like, okay girl, I see what you're saying, I see, and go ahead and hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And I just appreciate that anyway across the board. This is a new channel for us, and so your support is very, very, very appreciated. And even if you don't agree with this method, I'm not trying to convince you. It's just I'm clearing up some different questions and things people were commenting about, and since I can't always talk and get to everything and everybody, I thought this video would be helpful. So yeah, so the next part is oh, the last thing was the blow dryer. So a lot of people, or I had a few people say, well, a lot of people say this actually, you can just put your blow dryer on the cool setting if you don't want any heat to her hair, like, or you can use the $20 blow dryer and it'll do the same thing, things like that. And I want people to understand two things about that. One, there are people spending $400 on a Revair to blow dry their hair and straighten it, to do what a blow dryer does, right? So tell them that, okay? So that's that. Not to diss the people who are spending the $400. If you got it, then spend your money how you want to. But for that to be the reason for me not to spend $70 on a vacuum cleaner and use it for my daughter's hair, it doesn't add up to me as to why you're telling me that, and not the person that uses the $400 Revair. So that's what I say to that. But for those who also say that regarding the blow dryer, I want them to understand that my daughter and I have kind of gone through a journey with her hair, and trying to maintain it in a way that is most comfortable for her. It's difficult sometimes for me because I'm always learning and trying to do better, but it's also difficult because I want to make sure she's comfortable. That's very important for me, because one thing that was happening with the blow dryer when I was using it on the heat setting is I could tell it was damaging her hair. Sometimes it would be too hot to her scalp and it would end up burning her. Sometimes her hair was smoking, and because of the heat protecting, but the house would be smoked out, and and it took me a long time. Like, my arm was hurting to try to comb through all her hair. She has a lot of hair, and it was just a really frustrating. By that time, I was frustrated, she was frustrated. One thing they always say is don't do your hair when you're upset and frustrated, because it's just not good energy at all, and it was making hair days frustrating for both of us. And so I've been trying to really find ways to navigate it in a way that is healthy for her, but also healthy for me, and causes less stress. And this is one of those ways to be creative. And I will say it's been a better experience for us. She still doesn't like getting her hair done. She still doesn't like it. In most cases, she doesn't really enjoy the whole process, of hair or wash day. But the point is to make it as most comfortable as possible so that we can navigate it in a way that, like I said, it doesn't cause her to be uncomfortable while I'm doing my hair. She has, sensitivity, and I want to be mindful of her sensory and understanding that certain parts of her hair is more sensitive than other, or her scalp is more sensitive than others. I don't want the pulling, the snatching, any of that kind of stuff that can be aggravated through using a comb and trying to comb through every part of her hair and things like this. And this was a gentle option. So another thing is that it doesn't it's not pulling her hair or her scalp or anything. It's not like harsh on her hair or her scalp. So that was great. And that's the other thing. If people are wondering, can it pull your hair out? No, it doesn't. I thought it would too. I thought of that too. And you can see in some of my other videos, I kind of started out when I first did it. I was holding her hair and letting it kind of suction just the edge, and then I gradually kind of let it go. And I was like, "Does that hurt? Does that hurt?" And she was like, "No, I don't feel anything." And so it doesn't, it doesn't pull her hair out or anything like that. And that works well for us because I really want to do something that's, again, easy, healthy, efficient, and gets the job done. And so I think that addresses all the things. Like, it's lightweight. I don't have to hold it, in place. I can just prop it and move throughout her hair. And in comparison to the Revair, it has the long tubes. It helps me navigate around her whole head. I can also use it to vacuum my floor if I so choose. It is easy to clean. I have a video that I posted of that. So make sure you explore my page and check that out. And I don't worry about the wet and dry stuff because as I said, her hair is not soaking wet. And I'm using it with a bag so that it doesn't actually get into the vacuum cleaner itself. These come with the bags. When you buy it, it gives you 4 bags. And so that has been great. And what else? Yeah, and the time, it doesn't take them long at all. It's very efficient, and I'm gonna stick beside it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stick beside it, and nobody's gonna change my mind. And no, I don't want to use a blow dryer, because the blow dryer is not, efficient as my vacuum cleaner. So yeah, I'm extremely happy, and I hope this helps someone else that may be going through a hair journey, that's looking for different efficient ways to do your hair. And we are both 4C girlies. I cut my hair about a year ago. My daughter just cut hers as well, but I think it's going on 2 years now for her. So if you have any other comments, y'all please share what your thoughts are. If this is something that you would try, if you are like, no, I think, this, whatever your thoughts are, I'm open to it. If you have any more questions, I had somebody ask me to do a tutorial, like they actually feel like they need a tutorial. And shout out to the person who said on my Instagram, she said she went and bought, I think it's a she. I'm assuming it's a she. I didn't investigate their whole page, but they went out and bought the exact vacuum cleaner because they saw my video. So shout out to you, okay? If you come across this video, I had some other people who also, kind of wanted like a tutorial. But I would recommend going through my couple videos that I have. I'm going to be making more videos. Again, this is a brand new page, so go ahead and subscribe and support our channel and growing it. And thank you to all those who have subscribed. I appreciate you guys for being here. We appreciate you for being here. I did say that in an upcoming video, hopefully I can get my daughter to sit down and kind of share some of her thoughts as well about our hair journeys and just anything that she wants to talk about, so you guys can kind of get to know her as well. And we'll be sharing lots of things in upcoming videos. So just make sure you are here for the long ride and turn the notifications on so you'll know when we post the next video. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. Bye.